me kicked out of the rest of my senior year, and I had to go do the rest of my schooling online, or not online, on the computer at like this other school for bad kids, basically. And so senior year, I got to understand why school is so bullshit because like all the courses you can just do online at your own pace or whatever the fuck it was. And so like I had all that free time. But yeah, I went to a different part for my senior year. That's why I have what's called Vantage Academy up there as my one of my diplomas, high school stuff. But anyway, so yeah, I went to Vantage for my final year, and luckily, and we've got video of this. I have video of this. You know, everybody knew about the story about what happened with me because here's the deal: like everybody in my high school knew me for like being the manager of the girls volleyball team and beating up this dude that started to fight with me. So like at my graduation, at the practice graduation, and at the graduation, when they read my name, everybody gave me a standing ovation. So like they knew. So like I like again, it's like I was sent to Vantage for just like something that I was trying to be honest about, and that's fine. I don't care. That was just my senior year. I didn't go to senior prom. I already some girl asked me out to junior prom during my junior year. Um, so I already went to some other girl's prom, but what's it called? But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to damn it. I guess we'll have to wait until the next part because this is gonna get clipped. I'm gonna clip it right now, and then we'll read the letter that I got when I graduated because this is important. I'm gonna go ahead and clip this on YouTube real quick so we don't miss it. This is part two. See how it sounds like. Sorry, I was like outside all day, so like my eyes are like having pollen and stuff inside of it. Don't worry, I'm not crying. I hate my allergies, man. Oh my god, I just made it worse. Ah, man. Just waiting for the clip to go through, and then we'll continue again. Um, so this is like basically to tie it all in. This is the conclusion that we're gonna go into now. I wish I could have made it one full clip, because I know people are gonna take the second clip out of context. I'm prepared for that, but that's why I'm gonna have this follow up clip to just make sure that again what I understand. To my understanding, again, like anybody can whatever it is, anybody can have their own opinions, but this is what I lived understanding for the rest of my life and what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So, I got kicked out from Upper Marion High School for my senior year after the volleyball tournament. So that was like November of 2016 because I graduated June 2017. So this is something that you can ask other people in the high school. They'll verify with you. Again, it's like I'm not making any of this stuff up. There's videos of our what's called of our mock graduation and our actual graduation where people did do the standing ovation. They did it for me during the practice one and at the real one. Everybody was wondering why. The parents asked. People explained it. Anyway, um, so my childhood friend who went to the same school as me um wrote me this letter, this handwritten letter. I have right here. that basically gave me the push that I wanted for the rest of my life. Because at the time, like, and I don't talk about this a lot. When I was like told what I did was whatever, right? Because I didn't understand it, but then I knew it was like once I got legal counsel that that's not what the fuck that was. It's like I forever like resented them for that, because not only did they tell me I'd never be successful with my goals or whatever the fuck it was, but they also almost managed to like do something damaging that would last a lifetime. And so fucking insane, man. But anyway, how do I want to introduce this? So, despite all of that, I managed to graduate high school. I realized that school is bullshit anyway. And I got this letter. I got this letter. This handwritten letter for my graduation, and it kind of it makes me sad because of what happened today, which I'm going to explain. But this letter was the biggest push for me that really pushed me to like you know long story short, I wanted to commit suicide. So if you want to know, like, for the like I I didn't like at that point in time when I was convinced that I committed a crime or something like that, like I was disgusted with myself. Like I didn't even see the value of living because of what I did, right? It's like, cuz I caused harm to somebody else indirectly because I didn't know any better, right? And so it's like, and they had to go through their healing process, right? And so, for me, it's like, like I just, I knew that I didn't want to do any bad onto anybody, but at the time I felt so terrible, right? And again, this is not to get sympathy points. Please do not, like, I'm not severely depressed. I don't have any sort of ideas of wanting to do anything or whatever it is, right? It's like, no, do not worry about that. Don't worry about that. But I will say that this letter saved me. So I'm going to read it to you now. Only thing I'm gonna redact are like two words, their name and their name and like one word from this. But other than that, everything you're gonna hear from this is like lore accurate, is very 100%. So here we go. Hey William, sorry I couldn't say hello at your graduation. I was with the I don't know if I should say that. I was with the school activity group. I was with the school activity group. Sorry, that three words I have to redact. The name, school activity group, and one other thing I have to redact. And had to leave very soon after. Unfortunately, I cannot make it to your grad party. I still have an assignment due at midnight, which I procrastinated on. I just wanted to tell you congratulations. You're opening a new chapter in your life, and I thought it would be a good idea to end the old one. I harbor no resentment towards you whatsoever. Opening up was something I did for myself to start my healing process. There's commas there, by the way. You're my family friend. I love you and wish the best for you. So I'm telling you this to ensure you put yourself on the right path. I give you this message in hopes to end or begin your with an underscore underneath your healing process. You have a bright future ahead of yourself. Love, your childhood friend. And so, when I got this letter, it broke me. If I had to share with you like how I felt when I got this thing. And, I got them, like, I as soon as I could, I wanted to, talk to them, because I hadn't talked to them in ages since I started this path of trying to like make my life better and be a better human being and, repent for my sins, right? And so I managed to get them finally, right? We finally managed to like make time for each other because they were busy and whatever it was. I don't know what their thoughts were at the time, but I was like, if you can we please talk? Like I want to let you know everything from my mind. And so we did we went out to the park and we talked for like half an hour or like an hour, whatever. I wasn't timing this stuff, but I told her everything. I told them everything about, from my childhood, everything that I've told you so far, so that they can understand like what events led to me like having that psychology, right? To have that thought process, to like what made me think that, maybe we'll do this dumb shit, right? And so, they listened, and I explained to them, like you're my childhood friend. Like I care about you very much, and I'm sorry that I couldn't be present in your life for the last like few years since everything, all the fallout, because the whole thing, it's like it ruins families, man. It's so disgusting when you have social justice warriors that just they don't know, and they just oh my god, we're doing the right thing. It's like, nah, that this stuff is very sensitive. I would have handled it very differently, because this is people's lives you're fucking with. You know what I mean? And I obviously understand that my case is not as bad as other people's that I've studied, and so, but it's like it's not fun. It's not a fun game. Um, and so this letter I've kept for the longest time. And so, so if you're wondering why the whole thing about streamer tells our victims to blank themselves and all the other stuff that's related to sex or sexual assault or any of the other stuff, it's very, very fucking close to my heart, because I don't want other people to have to ever fucking go through that shit. So, if you ever wonder why I fought so hard against the whole Our Victims video, and why there's a 2-hour clip explaining like why I contextualize it and why I wasn't telling our victims to blank themselves, where I was explaining that if I were in a situation that I couldn't protect myself anymore, I'd much rather myself. That's it. As opposed to letting it happen to me. Anybody can listen to that. You know the context. I've had other people listen to it and see, like, is that what you think I'm saying? Right? So, like, is that what you think you heard? Right? Here's the 60-second clip. Here's the whole context. What do you think? Right? I've been through this with everybody, because I make sure, like, thank God I have this and other incidents from my past as screening tools, but this is a major one that I need right now. Because the thing is that when I do business with women, I'm very cautious about doing business with women, because again, you hear about all this allegations of sexual assault or wherever the fuck it is, right? And they all come out like, like the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing, Donald Trump, all these people, right? It's like, for me personally, I don't want that. I don't ever want that. I never think, let me just say it for the record on stream. It's not okay to take advantage of a woman just because you're more powerful than her or whatever the fuck it is. Whatever leads you down the process of thinking that, oh, maybe she likes her or the fuck it is. I've studied this shit, okay? It's not fucking okay. Like, the only reason, like, I ever get into relationships with women is if they actually want to get with me. Like, that's why I have photographs of text messages. That's why I have video. That's why I record video. I record footage. I record all this stuff, because the reason why I have a data bank of all my past relationships is because I don't want to wait for when somebody says a false accusation, whatever it is. I already know no means no. And you need to understand that no means no. If a girl says no, move the fuck on. No does not mean maybe yes. You move the fuck on. That's it. That's why anytime like I run into a girl, that's why I always talk about red flags. Any red flags, that's it. I can't be with you. Like, you presented enough red flags that I don't want to, your trauma or your undealt with shit is not my problem. Like, and again, it's like, I had to go through all that stuff. I had to learn all this stuff. Again, trial and error, because, my dad and my mom, they're divorced. And there's, I don't see any relationships in my family or anybody that I've interacted with. I don't see any, like, real couple relationships that I really enjoyed from what I watched from anime and what I read from books and what I've seen from other successful real couples. Like, for example, Alex Hormozy and Layla Hormozy, or like Preston and Brittany CO, right? Or like any of these other like healthy couples, right? And so like those are the ones that I aspire to be. Like those, all the relationships that I had was to aspire to have that shit. And so I want to say all this now because, so the reason why we're having this today is because like I mentioned at the beginning of all this, my great aunt passed away a week after the Eagles Super Bowl, right? And she is one of many siblings. The first one was my great uncle, who was killed by the communists before they all came to America. And then she was the first one to pass away in America. And there's a couple left that are still alive, and they're coming up next. And I didn't want to have to wait for another funeral to try to have a relationship with people in my family. Because she lived with me for 5 years before she passed away. Okay, the last 5 years, you wonder where who's living with me. My great aunt was one of them, and every single night I would come home from driving Uber or any work that I did. She would always say hello to me. She would always, she would always say hello to me. Okay, and so for me, like, I don't like doing bad onto people because I'm a very traditional person. Not because I'm not religious, right? Like, I don't read or repeat or regurgitate Buddhist Sanskrit because, I believe in reincarnation or any of this other shit, okay? I'm not that person. I do it because I from a very early age, I understood that the way that I treat my parents, my family, are the way that my kids are going to treat me. So when I go through the whole process of wearing black, of understanding what the Buddhist monks' role in the whole afterlife process, right? And like driving the monks to the funeral home, like for all the 3 nights that we had to, pray and, whatever, bless her body before we cremate her, right? I learned all that shit. Because at some point, other people in my family are going to pass away. And I'm the oldest fucking one. And nobody else, volunteers. Like, I know nobody cares. And I understand that, right? It's like, I'm not here delusional thinking that, oh, everybody should care. No. All I care about are my grandparents, right? Anybody that I had a connection with, despite whatever happened in the family, whatever the fuck it is, whether it's my mom, whether it's my dad, if they want to be cremated, if they want their funeral done a certain way, I will do it for them. Like, when my mom passes away, I'm going to shave my head bald. I'm going to follow the whole tradition. I'm not missing out on any of that. Because you can see, if you want to go find the video of what we did for my grandma when she passed away before my parents' divorce, you can go out, look at my old YouTube channel, my Journey to Cambodia video. There's an old video there, and you can see that. I don't really like to talk about it much, but now that I'm now able to, now I know that I've already said my piece and I'm just going to talk about everything online. I don't care anymore. I didn't know, again, like, I didn't, as a kid recording a video at the age of 13, putting online, you're innocent. You don't know about all the trouble that people online will cause for you and your family. Like, you don't know any of that shit, right? You just do it because you just do it. But anyway, so yeah, that was the funeral. Today marked the 100th day of her passing away. And so did the same thing again, dressed up in black, went to go pick up the monks and the priest and brought them over to the house that we were going to do the whole, the praying. And so every single time I get together with these family members, whether it was like the funeral for those 3 days, back over at the house to eat after, we all did the praying, whether it's Cambodian New Year's and we're like, going to the Cambodian New Year's and, everybody's praying, whatever it is, it's like going to church or whatever. For those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about, it's like going to church, right? And so, the family members that I didn't spend, especially of my age, right? So there's my age, right? All the people that I grew up with, that we all had sleepovers, whatever it was, like no connection with these people for years, right? I tried to reach out. And I explained to them, like, the reason why I'm reaching out is because it's not like, I understand, like, there's the whole rift in our family that exists right now. And I want you to know that I understand if you feel a certain way towards me because of what opinions you formed of it. And, I accept it. You're allowed to feel whatever, you're privileged to. You want to punch me, whatever the fuck it is, like, go ahead, go for it. But I'm not going to wait for another funeral for us to try to maintain a relationship, to, like, try to repair whatever it is. It's like, I already know what I want to do for the rest of my life is to make sure that nobody else has to go through this shit that I have to go through. That I had to go through, sorry. And if that means that nobody is going to walk with me, so fucking be it. That's it. I've already spent most of my life alone, and I already know that the rest of my life is probably going to be just as lonely. I've gotten used to it for years, and I'm not worried about that. But at least in a last-ditch effort, because, again, my childhood friends' parents mean a lot to me. Anytime my family was busy, they would take me from point A to point B, no questions asked. They would take care of me. Like, there was, like, to this day, like, I recently, my childhood friend's dad, like, their car was, like, busted. And so, like, I had to, I drove them to get their car fixed and everything. Like, I did that. I don't care. Like, that's what you do, for people that you care about, And so if their my childhood friends' parents pass away, I want to make sure that, like if they want my help, I'm going to do anything for their funeral, because that's just the way that I want to do it, if they permit it, right? Because like I have a connection, I have a connection with the childhood friends' siblings. Okay, specifically the one that we're on okay terms, and so I got into contact with them. What's it called, when the funeral happened, which was like months ago, and what's it called? And every single time there's like a whatever Cambodian temple or whatever it is interaction, I'd go talk to them. Um, because and I tried to talk to other people in the family too, and I let them know what my intentions were. Like again, like I understand that people will have mixed opinions about this shit, which I got to learn fully how people felt. Because again, it's like you have to understand, most people don't ever want to tell the truth. Most people don't ever want to create confrontation. Nobody ever wants to let you know how they really feel. But you have to understand, I'm the reason why I was so hard headed and stubborn growing up as a kid was because I never liked that as an answer. It's like I want to know how you actually feel. Like don't tell me all this fluff and shit that you're like, oh, I just telling you just so I can get you to shut the fuck up, and I don't want to talk to you fully. It's like, no, I want to know the meat. That's why I cut off a lot of different people. It's like, if I don't know how you actually feel, it's like I don't want to be friends with you. I don't have time for fake friends. I don't have time for fake family. Like I don't fucking care. And so the drama that ensued was that like everybody was here for the 100 day. And so I wanted to talk to my childhood friend because I wanted to ask them about the letter, and I wanted to let them know that, I'm going to go to public about all this stuff. Because for the longest time, I waited, because I wanted to give them privacy. I wanted to give them space. Because I didn't, this is something sensitive. And it's like, because of what I believed in the letter, right, is that they care about me, right? And so, and I care about them too, right? And again, it's like, by the way, the childhood friend is literally strictly that, childhood friend, not relationship, whatever the fuck it is. Just to clear that out, by the way, no. Um, and so, here we are today. And I'm checking up on some of the people in the family. The last time we talked, one of them said they were trying to get a job at a bank, and I was asking how is it going, because I gave them advice on like how I would approach getting the job, because I have plenty of experience of getting jobs and just talking directly to the hiring manager and just seeing if they have a job opening instead of just going through the whole process. And again, like a tip for any of you guys that are having trouble looking for jobs, literally do not go through job boards online. Like it's usually too late by at that point. If you know the location of the place that you're trying to go work, go to the place, prepare yourself before you walk into the building, and go talk to whoever's in charge. That's it. And ask, hey, can I speak with your hiring manager? Are you in charge of hiring? Like, I saw that there's a position online. Are you guys still open for that? Just very simple scripts that you can practice, and you go in, knowing what you want to talk about. It sets you like 100% ahead of all the other people that are applying online, just praying and hoping that they get through their, full 100 messages inbox or whatever. So just thought I'd, give you guys that. So that's basically what I told them. And, some other people are trying to get their independence. Like, they're very young. They're transitioning to, like, high school. And they want to get a job. And so I was like, explain, like, in our family culture, it's very difficult if you're not male to try to get your own independence. And so you really want to try to like get your family to understand that you want your independence, you want to go work a job, whether it's at like a whatever you can work at your age. And so I was just explaining that to them, right? So and again, it's like, again, everybody always puts up a front. That's why like I very much limit who I get to know and who I spend time with, because a lot of people like to fake how they feel around somebody or whatever it is. And I never really, I understood it, but I just never really wanted to do that type of shit. You know what I mean? It's like, if I don't like somebody, I just tell them up front. Like, there's no need for the games. Like, just, quickly unfriend me as quickly as you added me. Stop wasting my time. My time is very, I'm not going to get any more of it. And I don't want to waste your time either. That's it. So that's why, like, the whole our victim, or what's it called, streamer tells our victim to blank themselves incident was kind of, like, for me, I found it a blessing in a sense. Because, like, what I realized is that there's a lot of people that just don't do their research, or, like, they don't even care about asking the source. And so, like, once I understood, right, it's like, you can either say how it should be, right? like argue against human nature or accept how human nature is, right? And over, from that incident, right? This is like 2018 or whatever it is. I really like Ian. I was like, all right, I understand human nature. Like, there's a reason why there's a political divide between like Democrats and Republicans, all this other dumb shit. So like, once I started realizing that being an adult doesn't mean shit. Adult's just a 5-letter word. You're just child, just spelled a different way. It's like I realize that like, a lot of people that are adults are just full of shit. Like they're childs anyway. They just, have hid what they've, their habits from when they were young all the way up till they're adults. That's all that it is. That's all it is, metastasized. Like, especially I'm 20, I'm 25 now, and I'm talking to other 25-year-olds, and like a lot of them just have no fucking clue like they're even on Earth. It's like it's just like holy shit, dude. Over 3,600 different Uber rides and all the different conversations that I've had. It's like it's like I am, I see the world a lot differently than most people. That's why I'm middle grounded. Like I don't like. That's why when I voted in this election, I registered as non-affiliated. I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. It's just that Trump speaks a lot more for me. But enough on that topic. Let's get back to the real thing that we're talking about here. So anyway, I was giving, I asked them how they're doing, like what's going on in their lives and what they're up to. And I explained to them, like, I had like a 6-hour conversation with them when we got to the home after the funeral to like, eat. Everybody's just eating everything. And I explained to them, like, like everything that happened from my life up to that point. So they knew my side of the story if they wanted to hear, right? If they were willing, right? And so I felt okay. We traded phone numbers because we hadn't talked in a long time. I added their phones or whatever it was, added them on Discord, whatever it was. And, about like 2 weeks out, like I gave it like 2 weeks, and I was like, I asked, like, hey, you guys all want to like get together and hang out like, we used to, like whatever. Rejected. Everybody rejected. And so it's like only one person was like, I could, but like I have to go like somewhere with family or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But to me, all that just no means no, right? It's like I'm not going to force it, right? So the next opportunity that I had after the funeral, right? Because it was 3 days, right? 3 days of going to go to the funeral and then the crematorium. So like 4 days technically, right? And so for the 4th day after the crematorium was everybody went back to somebody's house and we all had food. We all had like whatever, banh mi or whatever, all the food everybody made. Everybody came over. Cho was there with me. So like, what's it called? Cho is a witness to this. So, Cho can obviously attest for this because Cho is there for the funeral and the food. For the, what's it called? Gathering, you can call it. And so, what's it called? After that, the only other time was like the Cambodian New Year, where we got together for that. And then there was another one where we did like a prayer for my grandparents because we couldn't do that for my great aunt. So basically what you do is that before somebody's passing away, right? You think that they're going to pass away, right? You want to bless them before they enter the afterlife. So that's basically what we did. Like all the old people of the temple that we go to, they all like, they don't know how to they don't know the tradition. So they asked the monks if they could lead it, right? And so everybody pitched in, like we all picked a day that we're all going to go do this. So we did that. So that's like three times that I got to talk to them. Excuse me, everybody. Besides my childhood friend, I haven't talked to that person in like ages, right? Never had an actual conversation with them besides the time that I talked with them in the park. But after that, I never no conversation ever, right? Everything, like we were just on our own separate paths, just going through life, whatever it was. I'd hear bits and pieces through the grapevine, and that's about it, right? And so today, I wanted to finally I didn't want this to be a thing that I was holding back anymore. Because I'm at the point where I want to start my business and I want to move into the next chapter of my life. And I want to make sure that any sort of controversies that are involved with me is all out there in public. Because I don't care about conventional wisdom. I understand that in order to make a fuck ton of money, you have to go against conventional wisdom. That's why YouTube, Netflix killed Blockbuster. A lot of examples, okay? So conventional wisdom says, any drama, keep it to yourself, don't talk about it, right? No, I want the drama out there now. Because for the longest time, I was always worried about ruining. Like for me, I always accepted that my life will always be whatever, terrible. Like if this is as bad as it gets, how worse can it get, right? It's like, and so for me, it's like I already lived in a state of mind where I never knew if my life was gonna get, I was gonna have any peace, right? From whether it was drama online or whatever it was. Like the reason why I can like sit through it and handle it is because I've had drama in my entire life. Like this is nothing for me. It's a cakewalk. It sucks. It hurts, right? Just like, every human being feels fear. It's just that, other people, like soldiers, right, feel, address and handle fear differently than a civilian, right? So, like, I also don't like getting shot at. I also don't like having somebody trying to, like, start a fight with me randomly in fucking high school. Like, again, like, punching me from behind. Like, again, like, I have to defend myself. But I'm not gonna fucking let somebody fucking, like, jump me from behind and, not get fucking chokeholded. Like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. And so, I use it's like, everybody treats shit differently. But for me, this is how I handle it. Like I fuck conventional wisdom. I think the more that people are able to talk about this stuff, the better. And less people will become victims, right? Like this is the reason why like I don't like the basically counselors that work it as a job and have never had trauma before are just repeating what their professors told them. They don't really know like half the shit that they're talking about anyway. That's my personal take on the mental health shit. The increase and influx of people going onto TikTok and getting all these people to believe that they have some sort of mental health condition because like they're whatever blah blah blah, and now all these kids identifying with like autism and all that other stuff. It's like if you're not clinically diagnosed, you're full of shit. That's just my personal take. But if you're not clinically diagnosed and you're just claiming that you happen to have something, it's like, dude, stop trying to play this game of like group association just so you can feel better because you just, lack the social skills to, interact with other human beings. And you just need like this social label to slap on yourself. Like, again, it's like, that's why for me, like, I'm not a Trumper, I'm not a Harris person or whatever it is. Like, I don't care. Like, that shit doesn't matter to me. It's like, I don't play the red versus blue game. I don't play the, what's it called? I don't play the team game, whatever it is. Like, at the end of the day, all I care about is, like, what's going to get the job done. That's it. Like, I don't care. Like, I like the Eagles, and I can also say when they have shitty seasons and they're a terrible team. That's it. I'm not a diehard Eagles fan. It's like, I like the Eagles when we're winning, when we're doing well, but if we have bad seasons, I'm happy to call them out. So, just for context there. But yeah, I already know that a lot of people are not going to like me moving to the future. I've already experienced it already. I've had a lot of different people walk out of my life, and the fallout, basically, long story short, the millennial and that person who confronted, or what's called isolated me to lay the word on me, they ended up doing something fucked up too. And so all I'm gonna say, because I can't say anything that I can't say, but because again, like I don't like, it's not that I don't want to be honest. It's just that I respect people's wishes to remain private. Okay. So what I can say is that that person and that person got married. They are now divorced. And there's a major story behind that as to why that is divorced. And all I'm going to say is that childhood friend is connected with divorce. That's it. And I always wish I could ask about it and know about what happened. But that's a story for another time. And because I cannot, it's not my business. It's not my job to dispel that. I'm only saying that because I understood why a bigger rift was created, and I thought it was just me. I thought it was just me. But when I understood it, I understood why, and that's all I'm gonna say. So back to me, because this is all about like me making sure that the world knows what I am trying to spend the rest of my life, trying to make sure it doesn't happen in other people's households. So, if you have children, if I ever have children, very first thing is no kids alone without parental supervision. I'm not gonna let the kids spend time alone with any adults other than me, my wife, or anybody that's designated to watch them. That I know that understands all this sex stuff. So again, like I'm trying to be careful about with what words I use on YouTube because again, like this is very important. And I just want to make sure that no other kid is ill introduced to sex at an inappropriate time in their life and is not addressed for it. You know, like you can't talk about it because your family, that's a taboo topic. Why are you talking about that? Who taught you that? Right? It's like, no. Kids will know right from the get go that if any creepy uncle, aunt, or whatever, grandma or grandpa that is untreated, you don't know if they're fucking infected, tries to get you to wear a dress or whatever the fuck it is, like just weird stuff, right? Come tell me immediately. Come tell dad immediately. Like, I'll confront that person and I can stem it right there. I know exactly what day it happened, I know when it happened, and I can make sure that my kid doesn't ever get negatively affected by that because I caught it in the moment. Because you'll never. Here's the reality: you may never know. And so it's your job as a parent to be on top of your fucking kids. Not like a helicopter parent, not a dictatorial parent, not a threatening parent using fear, obligation, and guilt, not using manipulation, lying, and abuse. None. None of that shit. Just very straightforward parenting. It's like, you know, you're raising your child, you want your child to grow up into the independent person that they are, living whatever the fuck life that they want. And because here's the deal. Do you want to break the news to your kids, or do you want life to fucking kick your kids in the nuts? Because life is not, like, learning from life, like, dude, that's not a pleasant experience. So you can decide whether you just want to, you know, roll a dice and pray that your kid comes out okay, or some dude takes advantage of your kid when you're not looking and you don't even know about it until years later, and you have to now, like, you know, pay for counseling and therapy and all this other stuff because you just were a neglectful parent. You know, it's like I drive all these parents in Philly, and, you know, like, some of them just, like, you know, yell at their kids. You can smell weed on them. They smoke and they drink. You see how they discipline their kid, or the lack of discipline. It's like, dude, I can only imagine, like, because again, it's like, you know, when I did more research on other people, if they had similar stories, I realized that, you know, obviously I'm not the only one, and, you know, this is not very talked about because, again, because of the stigma around it, right? And so I already know already that with my push into, you know, the gig economy and making money without needing to work for a public company where I have to worry about getting canceled from, I'm never going to be poor again. Just saying. I never have to worry about being poor again. There will always be work that I can find that I can do that doesn't require a college degree. And depending on what my skill level is, I can charge fuck tons of money for it because I'm very specialized in what I know and what I do, and the fact that I deliver results. So the reason why people are going to want to do business with me in the future is not because they like me, it's because they can trust me. Like, I like my customers because they make me money. My customers like me because I'm honest. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm very straight to the point. Like, no fluff. Like, dude, like, you need to get your shit together. Like, I understand because I had to go through the whole process of rescripting myself and making sure that I live the rest of my life, you know, as best as I can, for other people and the other people that I interact with. But it's a whole fucking journey. It's a whole fucking process. And so, yeah, I just, you know, I so when so here's the incident. I'm gonna explain to you why there was so much fallout. Um, I felt so bad that I had to get the childhood friend's sibling to basically be the communicate in between, because at this point in time, my childhood friend has a significant other, right? And so, like, this significant other, I don't know what they know. I don't know what they, you know, they think, because I never had the chance to talk to this person. I really wish I could. Um, but for the longest time, like, anytime we get together, right, they would avoid me, right? And it's like, they would like do their own little group or whatever it is. And so, like, I was informed that this person does not feel comfortable with me. Like, they are very upset that I'm there or whatever it is, and I'm interacting with other people in the family. It's like, and so for me, I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I understand. I'm not upset at that. I can totally see that. I can totally understand. Like, I can put myself in this person's shoes and be like, yeah, if I whatever was possibly told to me, like, that would be my reaction too. If I had their same genetics, their same upbringing, the same experiences, I'm not upset with that. But here's the deal. As the person that I am, and I don't like leaving these things as are, I'd much rather confront it at the source. We don't have to play this game of that. You have to dodge me. I have to dodge you. I don't dodge people, by the way. It's like, you know, if you got a problem with me, like, take it up with me. That's it. And so, you know, I basically said that, you know, I've been on the fence about talking about this for a while now. And because I'm going to start my business and every single, it's like, you know, it doesn't get it doesn't get easier, by the way. It's like when you become a public figure, it's like when you try to make your life public, everybody wants to know every detail about you. And it's like anything that could be turned into clickbait, anything that could be turned into drama or could be milked for drama, people will do it. And that's just human nature. You can't fight human nature, okay? You can just learn how to work with it and use it, right? And so for me, making sure that everybody knows my story, everybody knows, like, what I have to confess about, whatever it is, right? It's like, I'd much rather everybody know me and set the expectation low. So anybody that does continue to do business with me, I know I can trust them and they know they can trust me because I spent the time to qualify candidates. That's it. I spent time to suss them out. It's like, if they don't, they're not comfortable with what people know of me, what the reputation is of me, don't do business with me. Win-win or no deal. That's it. And for the longest time, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time now, because every single time, it started with the whole our victims, streamer tells our victims to blank themselves incident. Like, I was like, dude, if I could explain all of this stuff that's going on through my head right now, you would not fucking, like, this is fucking disgusting, because that's not what I was trying to say, right? And so I had to hold back because, again, at the time, I was like, I cannot bring this drama up because, again, it's like I don't want to cause trouble for other people. But I'm 25 years old now. They say a generation is like every 20 to 25 years. In 4 generations from now, I'm going to be dead. Everybody that is of my age is going to be dead. Like, people whose opinions that don't matter are going to be dead. It's like, and I already know that the way that I make money is in a very ethical way, because I always want to make money ethically. I drive people from point A to point B. I drive Uber. And if I don't drive Uber, I'll drive Lyft. And if I don't drive Lyft, I'll do whatever gigs exist that I can do. Because I can make a fuck ton of money because I know I'm going to outwork everybody. I'm the type of guy who plays 20 hours of League of Legends in a sitting. I can do 24 games straight. Not many people have the fucking, tenacity or the endurance to last that long of putting themselves to work and grinding for a goal. And I know most people don't. That's why I make more money than everybody, like, that does this shit. And it's like, that's why I'm going to make more money. Not because I'm better. It's just because, like, I already knew already that my life is going to be, I got to bust my ass. That's it. So, this is to kick off the next chapter of my life. With everybody that I screen is going to know everything. That's why, like, I tested this out with one of my early clients, and I'm going to do this with the rest of my future clients. I don't care. If you cannot do business with me because of all the drama that's associated with me, I don't want to do business with you. I'm not trying to sell you a solution. I don't care about your money. I care about if we're going to do business long term. And if we can't see ourselves doing business long term, like Naval Ravikant has said, I want to get with you long term, not short term. Whether it's business or life, it doesn't matter. I'm not here for seasons. I'm not a Walmart. Okay? I'm not a Walmart. All the friends that I have currently in my life are people that I can see myself talking with to long term. Nobody's perfect, and I don't expect anybody to be perfect, and I am willing to listen to other people because I know what it's like to have people walk out on you. I know what it's like. I know what it's like for a lot of these things. And so because I know how lonely it is when you have nobody to talk to, like, you can't share your goals or your dreams with anybody. You can't share all the things that bother you, that burden you. You can't talk to anybody about it. I know that feeling. I don't want anybody to have to go through that type of shadow ever. Like, I know what it's like. I know what it looks like in the dark places. Okay? I get it. That's why I can joke about it, because I've been there. It's like, the reason why I don't give a fuck when people get offended about that shit, it's like, I've been there. Like, I don't know what you want to play social justice warrior and pretend that, I have a friend that went through this, and so I'm going to get offended from them. Like, fuck you, motherfucker. You don't know fucking shit. It's like, I don't care. It's like, that's why for me, it's like, I don't get bothered because, like, half this shit that you're preaching, that you care about, that you support, you've never been there. Shut the fuck up. Like, that's just how, in my head, it's what it is. It's like, you can pretend that you know a friend that knows a friend that knows a friend that whatever. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're full of shit. Like, I've been to the dark places. You have not. That's all. Like, I've been to the top of the mountain. You have not. Like, don't fucking do that shit. And that's not me denying other people's experiences. Like, because again, it's like, people, get up in arms about their favorite movie actor or, like, their latest drama or whatever it is, right? It's like, people need drama. Humans need drama to fill the mediocrity in their lives. Like life is just mediocre, right? It's just it's mundane. And so just like how people sprinkle fat, sugars, and salts on the food that they eat, it's the same thing with drama. That's why people watch K dramas, J dramas, C dramas, whatever. It's like, they spend their time watching that instead of building a real life, because it's easy to escape in video games and drugs and entertainment than it is to actually confront yourself. Trust me, again, like, I understand it. I played video games too. I'm not a saint. And I never will come off as like I'm a perfect person or like I'm perfect or whatever the fuck it is. Like, no. Nope. But yeah, this is important, and I wanted to I wanted to make sure that, you guys understood that. I'm just trying to make sure that there's everything I covered. So we covered my childhood growing up, like what, like all the context behind like what led to X events, and I got my letter, and why ever since then, whatever. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm so stupid. I didn't finish up the drama at the house today. So all the way over in Delaware, basically. That's why you saw me driving, and I was talking to the monks today, and confessing to them everything about me, because I wanted to hear from their spiritual perspective what they had on me. Even though, again, I don't believe in the afterlife, but if there is an afterlife, that'd be pretty convenient. But if not, like, I don't care. I'm going to hell, whatever the fuck it is. I'm fine understanding that the rest of my life I'll be branded as a criminal, and people are not going to like me. People are going to treat me as whatever. That's fine. I don't mind. Because I know from the bottom of my heart I want to do good for other people, even though I know I may get, I may get upset, I may disagree, I may raise my voice, but I'm not going to hate people. Like, that's not who I am. I'm not going to do that. It's like, I may disagree with you, and you may be fucking retarded, but I don't wish any sort of bad thing on you, because life is precious. You never get another life, in my opinion. Like, the life that you have right now is the life that I have right now is what I have the rest to live. And if I choose to throw it away by jumping off a bridge in Minecraft, obviously we're on YouTube, I can't say stuff like that. But, if I were to choose to throw my life away, like, that's my choice to make, but I don't want to throw it away. Because the way I look at it is that when I weigh it on a scale, right? So, like, how many people can I make sure that this doesn't happen to, as opposed if I just, like, decided that my life is not worth it anymore, right? And so when I think about, all the people that I've had conversations with that are like, dude, I know your story. Like, I understand. It's like they can't talk about it. You can't, there's no, where do you go other than the shrink, right? Other than like the paid counselor that only went to college to study psychology, but never really had any of that stuff. And they just, they say the things, they know, like, they practice the script, they know, like, like what, I studied psychology too, because I wanted to understand, like, how these people operate. Like, I want to understand how the psychologists and the therapists think, right? So, like, okay, I understand, like, why you saying what you're saying. I understand that you're controlling your tone, you're controlling your emphasis, your pacing. Like, okay, I get the trick now, right? Like, I get the magic behind it, right? It's like, I understand this shit. It's like, you're not gonna pull that over on me. It's like, I know what you know, so I know what you're trying to do with me. Like, other people that tried, that are, like, trained, right? So, you're trained. Like, you practice this. Like, you don't, like, you haven't experienced becoming a billionaire. You just know what to say to people. That's all that it is. Like, yeah, I don't. That's why I suss that shit out, right? It's like, that's why every single day I document on stream where I put my money in myself, because I don't ever want to pretend about it. I want to show it. That's why I'm happy to show people, my evidence of, like, I made it to Masters in League, not once, not twice, but 3, fucking 4, 5, 6 times. It's like, yeah, I made it to Masters in Legends of Runeterra. I accomplished working out. Like, I run fucking 5K 3 times a week. 3 times a week. Like, I can do something that most people can't do. Most people can't run a 5K. Like, like, I do more pull-ups than the average male. I can do 14 plus pull-ups. Like, that's, like, if you go Google, like, how much the average male should be able to do, like, I exceed that. So it's like, again, like, all these small little wins, like, it doesn't matter to anybody but me, by the way. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not expecting anybody to listen to this and like, oh my god, wow. It's like, no, I'm not trying to. By the way, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be impressing anybody but yourself. That's it. Like, nobody fucking cares besides you. It's like, yeah, great, cool, you made $1 million. Nobody's gonna fucking attend your party. Maybe for the free food, but that's about it. Because, like, again, like, I study successful people, right? So, like, what happened when they made it to their first milestone or whatever? Nobody's gonna cheer for you. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Maybe the small few people that do, those are the real friends that you should take care of. But the other people, cool, great, whatever. I'm gonna go back to caring about my life. Like, what's it called? In the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna forget what you even told me, and I'm just gonna pay attention to my own life. And so when I started learning that about human nature, it's like, for me, it's like for the longest time, I just want to make sure that I go with the flow with human nature. That's why I wanted all this, whatever it was. But anyway, back to the drama at the house. So yeah, I tried to. I had to leave because the monks were finished chanting, and I had to drive them back to the temple. And I was like, I asked the in between to just let them know, like, I want to talk to them if they're okay with it. And so the person that was sent to talk to me was the significant other. And so I was like, I was talking with one of my older family members of like the grandpa generation, explaining to them everything I was about to talk with this person about. And they said to me, like, they basically just like threatened me, whatever it was. I don't care. Their threats mean nothing to me. It's like, they basically said, like, don't get anywhere near this person, like, don't talk to this person, whatever it is. It's like, and I was like, basically, like, I'm basically in my head saying this right now because again, like, whatever you could hear from the clip in the future, because I think it's recorded, I think it's streamed, because again, it's like I never do any of this stuff without protecting myself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do this stuff. Like, again, the biggest reason why I live stream 24/7 is because I want to protect myself. The reason why police officers wear body cameras is for this exact purpose, because you can't lie what's recorded on audio and video. You can AI generate it, but that takes a long fucking time. And so having the evidence as opposed to hearsay, I'd much rather you guys make the decision for yourselves on what you heard. But again, it's like it got heated real fast because they came at me with animosity. They came at me with anger, and I understand. Like, if I were them, like, that's what it is. But I'm not trying to talk to you. I'm trying to talk to my childhood friend. I don't give a fuck about you. And so, and I basically, like, that didn't go well. They walked away, and my childhood friend's sibling was trying to pull me away because, like, I wanted to talk to the person, not that person. And so I was like, okay, fine, but I was told that it was time to go. Like, the monks needed to go back home. I need to drive because I drove the monks, right? They were done. Like, it was the thing was over, and so it was my job. I volunteered to do that, and so I was like, I cannot let this go without saying what I needed to be said. And so I got in front of the family, in front of everybody, and I tried to talk to my childhood friend in front of everybody. Didn't care because I wasn't going to hold back anymore. And so what I explained was that, this is something that I wanted to talk about for a long time, and I did not want to use anybody's name publicly because this is something I need to do. And so, the significant others, like, you just go say whatever you want, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I wish you guys could have been there to experience the energy and, like, how it felt. It was very hostile. Everybody got hostile. And, like, everybody in the family was trying to pull me away. Like, they're like, it's okay, don't worry, it's not here right now, like, not in this day. It's like, the entire family has been avoidant of this shit. And, like, all that stuff pissed me off so much. Because for me, like, I don't like avoiding conflict. I like directly confronting it if I can with, like, whoever is involved or whatever. I don't like letting stuff molder or smolder or, like, fester, whatever word we want to use for that. But yeah, no, I said what I needed to say. I said, like, I can't wait anymore. I'm gonna talk about this publicly. For privacy's sake, I didn't say anything for years. But now is the time that I need to start, ramping things up. I have to start making a fuck ton of money, whether it's driving Uber all day or doing what I'm trying to deliver, which is, helping or not helping, supporting people and living a better life, whether it's finance, health, relationships, fulfillment. I'm not going to be the best person on the planet. I'm not going to be Nice. I'm not going to be any of these people. I just know that, if anybody wants to improve their life or, like, copy what I've done already, I'm happy to support their journey. But the only way I'm going to do that is with people that understand my side. And so, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Habit number 4 of Think and Grow. It's not Think and Grow Rich. How to Win Friends. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Sorry. If we're not, if I can't suss you out and you can't suss me out, I'm not going to do business with you. That's it. But yeah, that's it. That's I wanted to let the whole world know, the very small world that I have, because I know most people are not going to know about this. Hey, again, at the end of the day, I either have an epic story and epic outcome. Epic story of becoming one of the next billionaires, or the epic outcome of actually becoming one of the next billionaires. And everybody knowing everything that I did from this point moving forward, me being 25, all the way to the day that I die. Because again, like I don't believe in that there's any bars holding people back from success. Because nobody is born with an iron will, as Alex Hormozy says, right? We all come out of the womb crying, right? And so gut is something that you can develop. Gut is something that you can train. Willpower is something that you can train. And so you may not be the smartest, you may not be the strongest, you may not be the brightest, you may not be whatever the fuck it is. But if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to go through the tough shit, while nobody else is willing to do the work, nobody wants to do the work, you'll take up all the shitty jobs, you'll work as the garbage man, you'll clean the bathroom, you'll be the janitor, you'll take all the dirty jobs, whatever, that nobody else is willing to do, like you're willing to do all the shit that nobody else is willing to do, you will be successful. Because you build resiliency and you can push through all that shit. I took the harder route. I dropped out of college and I learned how to make money on my own by working jobs and learning all this other shit. And then I finally stumbled upon Uber that fit me a lot better, which is you're self-employed, you can drive whenever you want, and you have the opportunity to make $300 to $500 a day if you so choose. And if you live below your means and you stack all that in investments, you will grow. Like there's nothing going to stop you from growing there. But yeah, that's about it. So this is like part 3. I'm really trying to think if there's anything else that I didn't give context about. But yeah, I wanted to put this story out there because I think this is really important because, I know people watch. I know there are people that watch and people that may see this in the future. And I'd much rather let people be upset or angry with me based on what rumors they heard or whatever it is. But at least I know moving forward, I said what I needed to say. Like, I got to give my side of the story. And so here's the other thing, right? It's like, no means no. And what I mean by that, I seriously mean that. No means no. If somebody already has some sort of like opinion of me and they don't want to do business with me, I'm just gonna move on. It's not because I have any resentment towards them or like I hate them or whatever. It's like I can't spend 25 years to get you to unlearn the shit that you learned in your life. And so if the conclusion that you have with me is that, I'm a piece of shit or whatever the fuck it is, like, okay, I'm just gonna move on. Like, no is the job of salespeople. It's like you deal with no's all day long. If you got yeses every single time, salespeople aren't needed. You're just a very expensive, buy button or ship to my house button. That's it. So because I took the time to understand sales and sales psychology and all this stuff, objections are real. Everybody will lie to your face. Like, you ask somebody, would you want this product, right? But would you give me money for this product right now? That's the real answer that you're looking for. You're looking for the real. When people put up this front and pretend with you how they feel, they're just putting up a front. Like, they know how to avoid. And so your job of understanding people is to break down those walls. Like, get them to open up. You can't force their walls down. They have to put the walls down themselves. And so what I like about understanding sales psychology is that these people want to buy, these people want to make decisions, but all their lives they've been like, confronted with tough decisions and they can't make the plunge, they can't make the decision because they think of all the times they failed in life and all this other shit. It's like, I already know this because I've went through all this stuff in my life. And so, there's always going to be a market of people that would like a coach or like a mentor. And so because I see that already, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So like, either way, so here's a couple of the pathways moving into the future so you guys know what I plan on doing and how I plan on getting there, okay? So, first of all, I want to make sure that you guys understand that plan Z, baseline, nobody ever wants to do business with me, nobody's going to pay me any money, no fucking money. Great. Guess what I do? I drive Uber and I drive Lyft until I find a better gig that pays me more money per an hour that I can use. I can drive, turn on, go on anytime that I want. Okay. People always need rides. I will always make money. And so because I live with family, all that money goes straight into my investments. I just dollar cost average into the market. And once that grows in 20 to 30 years, it won't even be that long. I'll hit my first million. Let's see, 5,000. So let's do the math right here. We're going to switch over to what's it called. So like, let's just do the math, right? So we got. So let's say, because I make, I've showed you guys my numbers before. So if we go look at my Uber ratio, right? If I make like, whatever it's about, right? So I'll show you the numbers so you guys know I'm not just making up the math. Um, so if I drive Uber in a week or whatever, and I make like $2,000 a week, the breakdown's pretty simple. My car cost is like $162 per week. My insurance is about $82.59. Charging cost depends on how far I drive, but I always like calculating conservatively so people can see like how much I have to spend on that shit. Maintenance is like, you want to keep money on the side for any sort of maintenance. Obviously, if you don't have to, do anything, then that's extra money you keep on the side. And then keep money on the side for taxable income. So I've already calculated all this shit. I have like my raw numbers, which I showed on stream many times. You guys can see exactly how much money I make. I'm always happy to share with you how much I make weekly and how much I spend on rent and all this other stuff. Back when I was renting a Tesla before I bought my own Tesla. So, as long as, and here's the deal, right? It's like, if I have $700, I'm never going to be broke again. Like, that's all I need. All I have to do, so let's say, for example, everybody burned everything that I own. Everything is taken away from me, right? All I have to do is ask somebody that's willing to loan me $700 and I can make $2,000 in the same week. I go out, I get another car, and I start driving Uber again. And what I'll do is that I'll be like, hey, if you give me 700, I'll give you 1,000 at the end of the week. You want to make 300 extra bucks for literally doing nothing? Here you go. Give me 700 bucks and I'll give you 1,000. And so I keep 1,000, they get 1,000, and I can use that 1,000 to get, another car. It's like, again, it's like this process, rinse and repeats itself. It's like, it's nothing crazy. And so, again, it's like, and here's the other thing, right? It's like, I keep track of my numbers of like the tips, right? So like 1 in 4 passengers tip me. And the average tip size is about $5, which is about 50% increase in the ride. I have all of the data from my passengers. I got the 2,000 5-star milestone that I hit. That, again, this is not me. This is other people based on their interaction with me for 30-minute rides, hour-long rides, whatever the fuck. They were willing to give me a 5-star. And on top of a 5-star, 1 out of 4 passengers give me a tip. Okay, so I've given 3,600 rides. You can understand why I made thousands of fucking dollars from tip money, because you hear the conversations that I talk about with these people. This is the stuff that I'm passionate about. And Twitch was the worst place for me to go to for this, because I'm not that, like, I already know I'm not gonna be popular. I do better one-on-one anyway, one-on-one or one-on group. That's it. And so because I understand that that's my strength, just like how Legends of Runeterra is my strength, and I made it to Masters in fucking 6 days, and I work better in a solo environment. That's what I'm gonna fucking milk. I'm not gonna spend 12 years doing something that makes no sense. I'm gonna milk what works. And Uber works. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't wasting my time doing Uber when there are other opportunities I could go for. But now that I know that this is what I need to fully lean into, that's what we're gonna do. So you can see how much I make per week, right? You can see my weekly total and tips and whatever. These are all the in-app tips, not the cash tips that people give to me. So I calculate both. What you'll see in the data is you'll see one column is for add the tip, which is like in the app, and then you have cash tips. So I record both, because again, like what you don't see on the data is that you don't see the cash tips that I'm given. So like those are two very different things. And so I calculate the percentage of tips from the app, okay? Which is about like I don't know, let's total it. What is the percentage? An average of like 13.6% increase in money that I make. Okay, that's the tip percentage. Okay, percentage of how much I earn is 14% from tips. That's in the app, not cash. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So I make like it'd be easier if I did it as an average, but when I'm actually grinding, let's just use this sample size. I can make like 1,800 a week, whatever. My best averages are about over $2,000 a week when I actually when I try hard, when I actually I'm serious and I'm not you know nah, it's not the norm, Ilya. No. What's it called? Nah, it's not the norm. But hey, it's good that you tip. I hope those drivers earn their tips. You know what I mean? I know that you always tip in Uber, but I personally having been an Uber passenger, I made my account in 2016. I already knew that if I ever drove Uber, I never thought I'd be driving Uber. But like, what's it called? I never liked some of the Uber drivers because like they don't care about you. They only care about your money. And so like, I only tip the people that like, actually like made me, feel like a customer, as opposed to like, I'm obligated to have to drive you from point A to point B, like fuck you, shut the fuck up, or like I'm just gonna talk on the phone or listen to my music while you're sitting in my car with me. It's like I don't like that. And so the reason why I'm like a 5-star diamond tier Uber driver and why I make the money that I do, I should take a picture of my my IRS tax return so you guys can see that I'm not lying when I said I made 80 grand. Because again, it's like, oh, I can just show you the total. So for example, right, like this is the 6-month period of all the money that I made. If we zoom in, this is the 50,000 of the $80,000 that I got to keep. Okay, so I had to pay for, obviously I'm paying for rent for the car, so like about like a third of the money goes to like rent and gas and insurance and whatever it is. But I made 50 grand. So again, it's like, and I use that money to go get myself a Tesla, like all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But again, it's like, I have something that works, and that's the whole point of me just sharing this. So we go over here to the compound interest calculator, right? And so basically, this isn't going to be anything that crazy. I mean, yeah, this should all be pretty understandable. Basically, if I were to make, let's yeah, and so that's the other thing too, right? So like I always gauge my passengers socially. So like first, right, I get out of the car, I open the door for my passengers. I'm wearing a suit, so it already piques their interest. When they get in the car, I let them know that they can have any water and the snacks in the back. Sometimes they ask me, like, "Oh my God, is this free?" It's like, "Yeah." Or I've never been in an Uber that has water and snacks, right? And it's like it's always good icebreakers, right? Very like nice icebreakers. Some people are on the phone, like they have their earbuds in, listening to music, or they're on a conference call. Especially since I take a lot of business executives that order like the premium rides, right? So like anybody that obviously gives off the vibe that they don't want to talk, I don't force it. I never like again, no means no. This works in customer service too. It's like if people are like they don't interact after like I usually my watermark is like 3 questions, 3 questions to test them. Right, first question, second question, third question, no response. That's it. I'm gonna listen to music. I'm just gonna drive. Just gonna relax. Whatever. I'm not gonna bother you. Because again, it's like I rarely get a 1-star. I'm not saying I've never got a 1-star. I think the number of 1-stars I've gotten are like on the tip of my fingers. Like it's not even that much. It's nothing. Because like I've gotten 2,000 5-stars, and it's like it's not like if people don't give you a 5-star, you automatically get a 1-star. You either get a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, or 1-star, or you don't get a rating at all. Some people don't rate. Sometimes I don't rate. So like I already know what it's like. If you ever take an Uber ride and you get the pop up at the end of the ride, so you're like, do you want to tip your driver? What do you rate them out of 5? Some people just again you tap off of it or you hit the X button or whatever. It's like I haven't taken an Uber in a while because I drive a car now, but basically that's what it was. So anyway, just so you guys know the math behind this, why I have why I know how much I'm going to be making, because I reduced my expenses. And I'm starting to charge my car at home now too. The expenses are very low. So here's the breakdown of how much I have to pay for. You've got car cost, car insurance, the cost to charge the car, which I've kept consistently. So like here's my charging log. So I'm going to show you guys. So I track data on how much I spend on charging the car. Okay. And so my average per charge is like $8.73, and I charge 2 times a day, okay? And it varies from how much charge I need depending on how far the distance is, but I've been very consistent at keeping myself at under $20 a day. So $20 a day, 7 days a week is about $140 for charging my Tesla. If I want to charge to the full, right? But usually like I try to get it, I play a game of like, the 2 times that I charge, can I keep it under $20, right? And so, let me see. So that's so you guys know that. Let me see if there's anything else. So that's the charging cost. So I like calculating conservatively. I always budget higher. And obviously, if you don't get any sort of flat tires, or your brake pads aren't worn through, or you don't get into an accident where you hit something or whatever, you don't have to pay for maintenance, because the Tesla is very easy to maintain. Like literally the only reason why I had to buy my own Tesla is because somebody rear-ended me in the rented Tesla that I was in, and their car was a total loss. I think if you guys saw the stream or whenever that happened, they hit my car so hard that their car was totaled. They had to get towed. But because my car is a rented car, I had to go through the whole process of giving the car back to the rentor or whatever. But yeah, Tesla's a super safe car. I love it. I love Tesla. Tesla's a very safe car. It's like, I only can imagine what the Cybertruck is like if somebody hits your car. Because like the car is heavy because it's got a battery at the bottom of the car. So it's like, your car is going to be a lot heavier than most like Japanese made cars or like the cheaper cars. So like, in a head-on collision or like, car v car, right? Like the Tesla is more than likely going to be more durable than other cars that hit you, especially since I was rear-ended. And again, I have the photos to prove it. I have the Liberty Mutual that contacted me about the whole thing. Like I have it all documented. So I'm not bullshitting about this just so I can make a Tesla look good. It's like, no, there's a reason why I bought the fucking car. And the self-driving feature, which is amazing. Like I don't even have to drive anymore. I just put in the destination of my passenger, I hit a button, and it drives us. It does everything from pulling us out of the parking spot and just going all the way to the destination. It does stoplights, it does turns, it does merges, it does everything. Oh my god. It's so awesome. So yeah, I set money aside for maintenance in the event that I have to use it, and money for taxes. Because that's important, because you don't know how much you can deduct, and it's always good to have an accountant. That's why I have an accountant that makes sure that I can deduct the miles that I'm, claiming to deduct, right? And so for maintenance, I have the breakdown as to why this number is here. So I have it all calculated down to like, how much it costs per a mile for tire rotation, brakes, cabin stuff, brake fluid, battery for the car, motor, and what's it called, driving units at 150,000 miles, tires, and wash and clean. I don't really need to. I've realized that it's better for me to let Mother Nature wash my car than drive my car to the car wash, because I can always pay to repaint my car. Like I've logicked out most of the arguments. Like why do I like, if my car's gonna get dirty tomorrow for 12 hours of driving, why am I gonna waste money on washing my car every single day? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm fine with people seeing my car being dirty. I think that's acceptable. I'm driving a Tesla, so it's a premium vehicle, but it's fine. I'm not worried about that. If they care more about how good the car looks on the outside because there's like maybe a little bit of dirt or whatever it is, that's their problem, not mine. And I've gotten 2,000 5-stars and a fuck ton of money to prove that it doesn't fucking matter how clean your car looks on the outside. So $300 a day, 7 days a week is about $2,100. And so let's calculate the expenses. The guaranteed one is the car and the insurance costs. Insurance I have to pay all the time. Car costs only until I finish paying off the car, which is about $701.72 per month with 0% interest. Because again, I'm using this car for business. Like I don't like, and plus like I'm buying this car on a 0% interest. Thank you Tesla for seeing that my credit score is at 800 or whatever, and giving me first, again, it's like the longer I own this car, the less I'm actually paying because of inflation. Because inflation is an average of 2 to 3%. I like to say 4%. So that means if I bought the car at, let's say, $40,000, right? At the end of 6 years, I actually pay less than $40,000 in real world cash. And plus, because it's a depreciating asset and I'm trading that for money that I'm making on the depreciating asset, I actually turn it into a cash flowing vehicle, as opposed to people buying a BMW or a Lexus and just letting it sit in their in front of their house, So again, I understand how to leverage debt to make money, and it's a concept that a lot of people don't really consider or think about. So for anybody that's like, holy, what do you mean you have a $40,000 loan but you're making $700 or $2,000 a week from it? It's like, yeah, that's the whole point. It's like I only have to pay $700 a month and I get to pocket $1,400. It's like that's a trade. Or sorry. I get to pocket, and we're going to calculate how much I can pocket. So $2,100, car cost $161.94, insurance $82.59, charging costs $140, and you don't get charged tax for charging your cars, which is fine. Maintenance. So okay, outside of maintenance and taxable income, right? I keep these on the side for emergency. The amount of money that I need for my car, just based off of car cost, insurance, and charging cost, is about $400. So of the $2,100 that I make, Oh, whoops. I get to keep about 1,700. Okay, and because I don't need to pay for maintenance or maintenance or tax until the end of the year, guess what I'm doing with the money? I stick it straight into my investments. I dollar cost average it into whatever Bitcoin or the stock market or whatever it is. That's why I put all that stuff on Instagram so that people can see like what I do with my money and where I put it. Because again, I've been documenting my life for the longest time, and I want people to know exactly what's going on. So I'm not afraid to show this stuff because I have nothing to hide, and I want people to know that they can copy me too. I'm not like there's no secret whatever the fuck it is. Like I don't fucking care. You don't like there's no secret to this. Um, but anyway, yeah. So so that's about $1,700, and we'll just round it to 17 because we don't need any funky numbers. We're gonna go over here into the compound interest calculator. So here we go, right? So worst case scenario, nobody likes me. I can't get my business to come up off the ground. Nobody watches my YouTube shit, which is fine. I've been prepared to like, again, I'm using YouTube as a documentary service. Anything beyond that is amazing. Cool. So $1,700 per a week, 52 weeks, or sorry, times 52 weeks, divide that by 12 is about 7,300. But again, it's like let's just go with like 5,000. I put 5,000 a month, right, in this calculator. So 5,000 starting off with no money at, let's say, the average of 9 to 10% in the market, right? And I'm 25. I'm gonna live for like 75 years. Knock on wood if I live longer, right? In 75 years, at a 9% return, let's just say 10% because 9 is an odd number. At 10%, I'll hit my first $1 billion. Again, it's like my investments are returning really well, and every single year I'm going to report on how much I increased my value by through investing based on like the decisions that I made and what I like, how I choose to move my money and everything. And also factoring in like, money that I deposited as opposed to money that's growing in the market, right? So at this rate, at $5,000, 10% return, 75 years. I live healthy, I eat healthy because I document all my food. You guys know exactly what I eat because I track it all on a spreadsheet, and I take photos that I post online. I'm very controlled with how I do my diet and my exercise. It should be no surprise that, I live for a long time unless I die in a car accident. That's the only way that I die. Or somebody shoots me because they heard all this stuff on the internet and they think that I'm a piece of trash human being that they purposely need to like take my life out, like Luigi, whatever his name was, that killed the healthcare CEO or whatever. He thought it was his job to do that or whatever. So, the only way I die, and by the way, just so you guys know for the record, if I ever die, it's never because of suicide. I know I'm not that person. No. I'm telling you right now, if I somehow die and the cause of death is not because of a car accident or something that was not within my control, it was not suicide. So this is not me being paranoid. I just don't ever want anybody to make that shit up. It's like, I've already told you already how much I value my life because of how much change I think I can create with it, with the remaining time that I have left. The last thing I'd ever want to do is take my life now, especially after getting, my letter. So just FYI. So in 75 years, if I don't do anything besides just drive Uber and trade up for other gigs that make me $5,000 per month that I can put into the market, I will hit $1 billion. That's not a question. It's like, I will hit my first $1 million. I will hit my first $1,000,000. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is that I don't want to trade 12 hours to 16 hours a day driving Uber. But if that's the shit that I have to eat to make money, and that's the only thing that's available to me, fuck it. That's fine. I do not mind. That's all. Like, again, it's like, I found something that makes me more money than working a job. It's like, and I'm going to keep finding things that make me more money that the world never talks about, or that the world never encourages. And I'm just going to, again, take advantage of the privileges and the opportunities that I have afforded to me. That's it. So, either way, I already have my finances calculated out. So you guys can see exactly, what's it called? We're going to do, how much money do I need? So I've already calculated everything down to like, my expenses. If I ever had to pay for a studio bedroom apartment, if I had to pay for my protein powder that I have all the time, milk, chicken meat, tilapia meat, orange juice. I'm gonna switch that out with oranges and mandarin soon. Cooked brown rice. Should say brown rice because I haven't updated this in a bit because I did this back December 11th, 2024. I already know how much I spend on all my stuff. Utilities, gas, water, cell phone, transportation, all this other stuff. Like I already know that worst case scenario, I just need $18,000 per year in the city that I live in. And if I move to other places, it's gonna be a lot cheaper. I don't have to worry about all that other shit. So at $18,000 per year, I'm good. And if I live for 75 years, like, obviously, let me do that properly. Time 18,000 times 70. Fuck. Times 0. 18,000 times 75. I just need like literally like $2 million and I'm good for the rest of my life. If I don't plan on getting married or having kids. But if I plan on having a wife and kids, right? My rule of thumb that I said for the longest time, I'm very conservative when I calculate. I don't do the 20x rule, which is like 5% return on your money in the market. I like calculating for inflation. So if the average return is 10%, subtract inflation, 4%. I'm very aggressive on that shit. And on taxes, you're going to keep like maybe like a third. So times 0.33. So about 2%. But I go even further. So like I at some point I came up with this calculation that you're gonna need like 71x your money if you, let's say for example, you day trade, and when you take money out and you realize the gains, you pay short-term capital gains tax. So you don't get the money. So like let's say for example you buy Apple, right? And Apple goes to let's go to, let me see if I can pull up an example. Coin marketplace. Or market cap. Here we go. So let's say, for example, you buy Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, whatever, and, it goes from like $450. I don't know. Microsoft has a thing that they're a terrible company now and nobody wants to buy them anymore, even though everybody still uses their computer product. So all the speculators and all the fucking people that don't know anything about companies sell off all their Microsoft stock. And so the Microsoft stock drops from $450 to like $300, right? And so you buy in at $300 and it goes up to back to $450 because the company's not actually dog shit, right? And so you made $150 per share that you own of Microsoft, right? And you decide that, hey, I made a lot of money. I want to move some money off. Like the money that I invested, I want to take like, 50% of it out and keep the other in that I, and keep whatever money I, originally invested, take that out and keep whatever's left in, right? You do that. And if it happens within under 365 days in a year, so under a year, short-term capital gains tax comes in. It's treated like normal income tax. So because the highest taxation is in California, right? You basically are going to expect to pay 50% of your income. I like to go even crazier because I don't know if our government's going to go towards taking more money from people through taxes, because that's just the direction that I see the country going. I don't think people understand taxes and think that the only way that we can pave roads or fix problems in our communities is by taxing the shit out of people that are working their asses off every single day anyway. The whole thing about public versus private, right? That's another topic for another day. Because I like to prepare ahead of time that I know that I'm going to be making money for my investments. And if I can't, own any assets that let me eat for free or whatever the fuck it is, like, every single year, every single month, I'm taking out all the money that I make from investments and I'm paying short-term capital gains tax because that's what I'm making my money on. That 10% goes down to 6%. And then I'm taking 1/3 of that. And so even more so, I eventually arrived at the number, which is 71x. So if you take one divided by 71, you get 1.4%. That was the number. That was the magical number I arrived at. So that's why every single time I look at my money, it's like if I need, for example, to make sure that my wife can stay at home, she doesn't have to work another day in her life, and we can raise children together, and we can have like 4 kids in the state of Pennsylvania, or even like some of the most expensive states. We would just need about like $160,000 per year. So the way that money would divvy up would be pretty simple. My wife, for anything that she needs, anything that she has to take care of, is $60,000 for her. We've already shown through my calculation that I only need like 20 grand. I don't need that much. I'm very, very easy to please. Like I'm very happy with a very, peaceful home. Like you don't see me getting all this fancy shit. The only thing I waste money on is like building my own PC, or that's about it. It's like, and again, the only reason why I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max is because I had this phone from when I got my first job as a lifeguard. Um, what's it called? This is an iPhone 6s. Yes, I know it's ancient. And this iPhone 6s is not going to work with the Uber app and everything. So I figured, since I already milked out as much as I could of this phone that I got for $900, it's time to get a new phone, instead of, like, because again, like, I was the person that, even if the phone battery was bad, all you have to do is go to the Apple store and ask them to replace it. You pay like $50, $60 at the Apple store. They'll take the phone battery out, give you a new one, and your phone's brand new. Like, it's fine. The battery capacity, it's not worn down anymore. You can keep using the phone. The problem is that the phone is slow because it's, again, the iPhone 6s, and they stopped doing security updates for the phone. So that's why I got to the iPhone 15 Pro Max that everybody had an issue with, because I got like two phones, because the thing was like, buy a new phone, you get another phone, and you get $700 credit towards another phone. And if you decide to add an additional line, this is the additional line, which is free. If you add an additional line, which is free, because I like saving money for my family, what I did was that I got us in. So you have to remember, before T-Mobile became T-Mobile, T-Mobile was Sprint, okay? No, T-Mobile acquired Sprint. I'm sorry. And Sprint had an unlimited talk data plan, whatever. And because it got grandfathered in, I have unlimited data on two phones, like no cap at all. It just drops you to like 4G instead of 5G or whatever, and that's it. Like 4G is fucking good. Like, I know, like, I don't need more than 4G. So like every single month, right? It's like, I was looking at my data of how much data I use when I drive Uber. I use like a terabyte or like 2 terabytes of data on both my phones combined when I drive and stream Uber. So like, I'm the guy that's like using all that data. And so when it moves me, it's like, oh, you've used, in like the first day or whatever, like I get like a text like, you've exceeded your 50 gigabyte for the month, blah blah blah, like, like now we're gonna have to move you to 4G. It's like, I don't fucking care, like, that's fucking fine, whatever. So $160,000, because I don't need that much money. I don't need anything to make me happy. I'm not a materialistic person like that. Like, I'm happy that I own a Tesla, but beyond that, I don't need a Maserati or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. I don't need all these fucking $100,000 cars. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, take care of my wife. I only need 20 grand, and the other 80 grand. So each of my children, will take 20 grand. And so that's going to go for all their food, the supplies, and any building their 529 investment, as well as like dollar cost averaging into whatever the cryptocurrency at the time is, whatever it's Bitcoin or whatever, and building a savings account for them, like a savings investing account, which they will have access to when they turn 18. So I will basically be paying them money if they want to do jobs, just underneath the amount that you have to pay taxes on, so they don't have to pay taxes on it. And that would be their job until they turn old enough that they can get an actual job at like Chick-fil-A or something at like 14, because of the school district and laws or whatever exists then. So the moment that they're like, they get interested in money and want to make money, I'll hire them, I'll employ them. Very simple jobs, and I would pay them as on top of, taking care of their food, their housing, all the other stuff. So $160,000 a year, times 71. I just need like $12 million. That's it. So, based on this calculation, we will hit $12 million by myself on my own income in 31 years. So I'm 25. I wasn't born into a wealthy family. I don't get to choose who my parents are, but I can choose the type of man I want to become by the time it's time for me to have kids. And so, I want to make sure that, if it's all off of my income, I probably won't have a kid until I'm like 50, 56 or something like that. But again, if I can find avenues to make money faster, like, that's when I'm going to do it. So like, the goal is to replace my driving Uber income with passive income, air quote, passive income from like a business or a side hustle or something that I'm starting on the side as quickly as possible. And so that's why I've spent copious amounts of time studying business and how to create a business and like all this stuff, right? Like, I've been studying all of this stuff of people that have already done it already. Like, I am consuming like a fucking madman. And so I know a lot more about business and business creation than most people with college degrees. Because again, it's like the way that I like again, it's like I use video games as like a learning structure. So like I've been talking about how I've been playing this game called Fallout Shelter. I play Fallout Shelter the same way like I play League. It's like it's a solo independent game, and I do the research. Like I go read the wiki, like I go read all the stuff associated with it, because that stuff and understanding that stuff, it's like why do I want to make $10,000, $100,000, $1 million mistakes when I can just go read all the information that people have already provided and collected on how to do things, right? I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can just steal like an artist. Like this is like I can just optimize my gameplay from the get-go. Because like I don't ever want to have to repeat the 11 years that it took for me to learn League and understand all the shit about League. So anything that I get into, any endeavor, I just research the fuck out of it. Like before I even did this, like before I did Uber, I had everything calculated. I had everything like prepared. Like I knew what I was gonna do in certain scenarios. But again, it's like I am just the type of person that's a planner because of how many people that have walked out of my life and all the dumb shit and none of the support, whatever it is. I'm not trying to make you guys feel sorry for me or whatever the fuck it is. I had to figure out on my own. Nobody's coming to save me. And the future that I want, I gotta create for myself. Nobody wants to talk about money. No one wants to talk about all this shit. I do not fucking care. I had to stop using that word. I had to stop using that language. But it's like, I'm not worried about other people's opinion anymore. So now that I've been liberated, I said what I need to say in front of my family, in front of everybody, and let everybody figure out whatever they want. I'm not holding back anymore on moving into the future that I want for myself. Because what I care more about is making sure that if I have any children, if I interact with any parents, if I interact with any other younger people, they do not ever have to go through the shit that I had to go through. I don't ever want another kid to be sexually traumatized. I don't ever want another kid to be physically abused. I don't ever want any other kid to be, raised through fear, manipulation, guilt, all this other stuff. I don't want to put my kids on stream really, unless it's like there's this guy named POV Husband, who him and his wife, they shared their story online, and they have like a baby right now, and the baby's always in all the cooking videos. But that's fine. I think that's reasonable. But I'm very like I've thought about it a lot. I've journaled about it a lot. I've talked about it a lot of like how do I want to handle the privacy of my children, because before they're 18 and they understand anything, it's not fair for me to put them in the public if they don't ask for it. You know what I mean? So I think I'm leaning more on the side of like none of my kids are going to be any of my public content. That's why I keep all my family out of my content. Like I already applied, so you can't just like say that, oh, he's just talking out of the ass. Like I've already done this with my family already. It's like I don't like if anybody goes to dig up information on my family, that's on them. Like I can't control that. But what I can control is that I don't talk about family. I don't talk about anybody. But that's what I did for the longest time, and it's been eating me up on the inside because I don't want to continue into this next chapter of my life trying to help people improve their lives if they don't know who they're dealing with. Because again, like I'm not perfect, and I want people to know that I'm not a perfect person. If I'm gonna go to hell, so be it. But I'm gonna spend the rest of my life trying to make sure that I do the best that I can to be a good human being for other people. Like I understand that I got upset playing League of Legends and saying somebody was the N word. I understand that recently I got indefinitely suspended off of Twitch because I got so mad in a League game that I told a Jana to go to Home Depot and get a rope because they're a maggot. Like, I understand. Like, and I can accept that there are people that don't want to do business with me or don't feel comfortable because of what they learned of what I've said in the past. And that's okay. Because it's like, there's something that, undeniably, I'm going to make all this money, and beyond the 12 million that I need, all that money is going to go towards research and developing all the businesses that I wish I could create with the money that I wish I could have had if I had connections with people that I could use their capital. Because there's only four big ways to become a billionaire. It's the 4 C's. You've got capital, collaboration, content, and code. Those are the 4 big C's that if you want to make it into the $1 billion territory, that's what you need to do. And so that's a little bit. I'm gonna close this video up in like another 20 minutes because I need to really just get started working on just cleaning up all this stuff now. Now that I finally unlocked a part of my life that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. I don't know if Ilya has any thoughts, but I appreciate you listening, Ilya. I know we haven't talked in a while. I know you're associated with all these people or whatever. It's like but I don't care. Like that's not my. That's not like again. It's not in my nature to like hold grudges against people. Like I don't really care because like for me, it's like we all go through phases in our life, and I just don't want harm onto other people. It's like it gets annoying, obviously. Like I'm not gonna what's it called. I'm not gonna pretend like stuff doesn't get annoying from times, but it's like like but I do I care more about being annoyed of something that's not within my control, or would I much rather focus on like what am I gonna eat tonight? It's like I'd much rather focus on what I'm gonna eat tonight. So like I don't care. Because if it doesn't like put anybody I care about in harm's way, it's like I'm not worried. You can dish out shit at me all you want, like I don't care. That's why I put this all online because I'm happy for people to criticize me and hold my feet to the fire as a public figure because I want to do the things that I say that I'm going to do. That's all. But I'm not trying to impress anybody but myself. If other people happen to be impressed, that's a byproduct of my success. It's not my focus. I'm no longer trying to satisfy. No, you don't have to chat. I just wanted to acknowledge that, I'm aware that you're potentially watching the stream and that I appreciate you sharing your precious time with me. So that's all. I just wanted to let you know. And I understand that, everybody's got their differences, but I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, so that's the master plan. If the 20% of time that I'm going to spend trying to create this business, create the courses, and you know screen and qualify candidates and pass them up to the next level and like actually like have full conversations on stream coaching them like Nice did, if they can't they can't sit through that, that's fine. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm gonna start driving Uber again, where I'm selling my coaching from my car, and that's it. And so we'll build the business from the ground up. So I'm not gonna spend all this time on like I know I'm losing so much time working on a business that it may just fizzle, right? It may not ever actually take off the ground. But I've made so much money that I've stocked up in the bank that I'm not worried about not making money right now because what I care about is hitting a home run once and never having to hit a home run again. So that's why I'm taking all this time to make sure that just like how I play Fallout Shelter and I do all the research ahead of time, so I'm ahead of most people and I do research in industries. It's the same thing with starting a business. I'm not gonna just start a business and not know what the fuck I'm going to do. I have to have a game plan as to what I'm going to do and why I'm spending my time. Because again, I'm a very skeptical motherfucker. Like I want to make sure that like if I'm gonna do something, I go at it full gung ho, like nothing holding me back. So that's why like it's hurtful. Not hurtful. Like, I can understand when people say like, "Oh, you're wasting your time." It's like you don't know what kind of future I'm trying to build. Like you don't understand like why I can make 500, $300, $500 a day in just a week or 2 weeks of me starting to drive Uber. It's because I planned everything ahead of time. I knew what I was going to do. I came with a game plan. I didn't just fuck around and find out. Like I already knew like how can I maximize how much money I make. And there's a reason why people are willing to pay me tons of money on the side for private rides because they have my number and they want me to drive them privately. But I decline a lot of people because again, I only want certain customers. I only want people that are willing to pay. I don't care what you are because your money's spent the same way. But I only want people that don't cheap out. If you want discounts, I'm not driving you. I think I explained the story the one time, right? So like I picked up this congressman, right? And this congressman asked for my number because he thought I was a very professional driver and he wanted to do business with me again. And he knew that his family was going to be coming into town at some time, and he wanted a driver. And so he asked me, "Can I have your number, please?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't mind here." And so basically the job was to pick up his girlfriend and his mom from the hotel that they were staying at and drive them to the restaurant downtown that they were gonna all have dinner at. And so, obviously, I don't charge people up front when I'm first soliciting business. I did the whole thing, right? And I ran the numbers in the Uber app to see how much it would cost to reserve a ride, same shit that I did, and I didn't tack on that I had to drive all the way from my house to go pick them up. It was like a 30-minute extra drive, but it was fine. I don't care. And so I knew how much the value of the ride was, And so when the time came, he's like, "How much do I owe you?" And I said, and so the thing that I told him was that, how much do you think your girlfriend and your mom thought the ride was worth? And so he said, "Oh, would $100 be worth it?" And so the car ride itself was about, depending on what ride tier you order, whether it's Uber X, Comfort Electric, or Premier, right? The Uber X ride for the ride was like $30, right? Like 27, $28 or whatever. And then the, down all the way to like the Premier ride, which can be anywhere between like 50 to $60. Guy gave me $100 for a ride that literally took me an hour to complete. I made $100 in an hour. An hour. So it's like the whole thing is that, and the thing is that the more volume I do, the more customers that I get, the more clients that I get, the higher the nuggets get. And so for me, it's like, look, I don't believe in manipulating people or selling people, what's it called, solar panel or home security system or all these other sales tactics of manipulation and shit. I don't like that. It's like the whole red pill community about manipulating women into getting into relationships with you. I'm very much against that shit, especially now that you know my story. But for me, I believe in ethical sales. Like the reason why I made the highest numbers when I sold shit when I was working at GameStop, when I was working at Brookstone, and anything that I did relating to sales was because I cared about the customer. I cared about what they wanted. It's like, I'm not gonna sell you some fucking massage chair when all you need is like a shoulder massage thing. Like, that's fine. I'll sell you what you actually need. Describe to me your problem. I'll diagnose it the best that I can, and I'll give you the recommendation. And if we don't have the thing that you're looking for, I'll tell you where you need to go. Like when I worked retail, right? I was like telling them, like, no, you're probably better off saving money by buying this off of Amazon, right? Our competitor. And like, my boss is like, you probably should be saying that if like the whatever hears about you saying that. And it's like, but it's like, I care about the customer. I'm like, if they're gonna spend this amount of money anyway, hundreds of dollars on a fucking TV or where the fuck it is, right? Like, I might as well make sure that they're spending it informed. I want to make sure the consumer is informed. I don't get commission off of it. So, like, why, like, if I'm not making commission, like, why the fuck would I sell them a TV that they don't even, like, they could get a cheaper one online? Or, like, they can get it from the store down the street. Pay me commission and maybe I'll, explain to them, hey, I make commission off of this, but if you would like to, you want to buy this TV, we have it here right now. Again, ethical sales. I do not deal with the manipulation side of it because the reason why so many people have such a bad stigma of salespeople is because they never take the time to learn. The bad ones never take the time to learn about the human being on the other side. They have a quota behind them that they have to hit by the end of the month. They need to sell a certain number of cars, a certain number of widgets, or whatever it is, or their ass is cooked, right? I don't believe in that. So for me, like the reason why I structured that ride the way that it is because I let the customer decide how much the ride was worth. And based on what they decide, that's how when I make my decision whether I continue doing business with them or, I appreciate that you paid me that much for the ride. But, and they asked me again, like, I'm sorry I can't do business with you anymore. Because, what's it called? I have other clients that are paying me at a higher rate than what you offered the last time we did business. That's it. And so again, I make money on the side too. Like, sometimes you'll see me not be in front of the camera, and that's because somebody fucking ordered a private ride, and you'll hear it because I'll record it, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know because I know how to make money now without having to do illegal shit. I've always wanted to make money without having to do illegal shit. I never want to sell drugs. I'm not for drugs. And I never wanted to make money in ways that other people can't copy me because I know there are other people that are going to have to go through a similar situation like me. But I want them to have, there's light at the end of the tunnel and they can, live they can, not only can they redeem themselves, but they can also, do more than just redeem themselves. And so if I can pioneer that for other people that may have fallen into similar situations like me, then I'm good. I did my job. I can spend the rest of my life, in peace, knowing that I tried I did what I could. And when I pass away, my goal is that I want to have multi-million-dollar charities that contribute to whatever the best charity that's like not corrupt, not run by fucking corrupt people, that helps, like, for example, countries like Africa depending on how that's going to look in the next 50 years, I think Africa is going to start developing better. But like, places like Kenya and all that other stuff, like, all these people that I'll never get to meet, I want them to have a better life. Whether it's building hospitals or getting them access to food or to education or whatever it is, that's like, I want to do more philanthropic stuff. I don't want to, like, money is nothing to me. Like, beyond what I need to survive, I don't need billions of dollars. Nobody fucking cares. Like, all the billions of dollars is going to do is help me experiment and create better businesses that kill all the competition that exists. Because I have different ways of looking at stuff, and I don't need your permission to know how I'm going to run these businesses. I just know that if you set me loose to do it my way, I pretty much beat most people. Not the best. I'm not going to be the best, but I'll be a lot more effective than most people. And that's enough for me. I don't care. Especially with the past that I have that I'm letting go of now, that I'm moving on, I'm moving forward because I got to say what I need to say. Everybody knows what I'm gonna do now, and I'm fine taking on all the enemies or the people that don't want to take the time to understand me. It's like there's no enemies, there's no haters. It's just people that just don't want to take the time to understand me. It's like, look, I don't know what your mommy and your daddy did to you during your childhood. I don't know, somebody fucking sexually whatever I don't know if you have some sort of childhood trauma or whatever the fuck it is. Whatever the fuck happened in your childhood, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. But I'm not gonna, just because you tell me that you don't like me or you're gonna do some weird shit when I'm not around or whatever the fuck it is, it's not my business to care unless my life is threatened. If my life is not threatened, I do not care. I believe, my philosophy is very simple. I think everybody should be able to enjoy their life however they want to enjoy it, as long as they're not stopping somebody from living theirs, which I would limit to, if you're not trying to kill somebody else, and that's how you describe that you're trying to live your life, that's the only time I'm against it. Like, if you prevent somebody physically from being able to live their life the way they want to live it, like, fuck you. I'm gonna be with the guy that, if you try to commit murder, I'm against murder like that. But if you're threatening to take somebody's life, and you have your gun drawn and you have it pointed at the person, if the person shoots you back, it's like, you're in the wrong. You fucked up. It's like the whole Kenosha shooting with what's it called? What was the kid's name? I can't remember. And you see the trial video, right, where he's interviewed, right? He's cross-examined and all this other shit, right? And he's like, did you draw your firearm across your chest and point it at person? Yes. It's like, and that's it. It's like you drew it, and it's on video too. It's like, you drew your firearm, aimed it at the person. So if the kid shoots you because you are already pointing a weapon that can that can apply lethal force, you're in the wrong. So if it's not in that, if I'm not in that position, I can turn around and walk away, because that's like the number one rule of fighting. Don't fight. It's like, if you can walk away, just walk away. That's it. So for me, it's like, I don't, I've said this again and I say this again, I don't have time to worry about other people whose opinions don't even matter and they're not making me money. That's why I don't care about having people write in my chat or whatever. If they're not paying me money, why the fuck do I care? They're just wasting my time. It's like, driving Uber, really helped me cement this, because it's like, why am I going for pennies on Twitch when I can just get real dollars from people that I'm already going to talk to as if I were in a live stream for X amount of minutes in a ride, and they tip. You can't get tips on fucking Twitch like that. You get mostly, what's it called? Just subs. I don't need a sub. Just pay me money, and then, I don't have to see you again. But yeah, that's the roadmap from this point moving forward. So I'm going to be developing a business that, I can run remotely, that I have other people do the fulfillment for me, and I just make the strategic decisions on, how we're going to expand the business, all the other stuff. All the capital that I make from the business can be used to build up my personal net worth first, and then after I retire my family, just specifically my parents and my grandparents. My grandparents are already retired. They're already on retirement money, but I want them to, be able to relax a little bit more because they've taken care of me since I was a kid. Beyond that, all the extra money just goes towards experimentation with businesses and hiring more people, onboarding more people, bringing more people into my business, screening and sussing people out that, are okay with the drama that I may bring in because of my past. They want to work with me. They want to do business with me. My biggest thing on people is Virgin Airlines guy who basically said this, which I really like, was that, you know, I want to train my employees so well that they can leave, but I treat them so well that they don't want to go. Like that's how it is. Like for me, it's like that's why I document all this stuff online because I want to document and demonstrate to people. Like I don't want to just say all these theories. I want to have done it and they saw for years the evidence so they can trust me. They don't trust me based off of my words, they trust me off of the evidence. And that's what it is, right? It's like the difference between some guy that's selling a $10,000 course online versus like $100,000 to go to Yale or Harvard is because, Harvard or MIT, they don't have to fluff the numbers. All they have to do is like, here's all of our past students' data. Here's where they end up after 20 years of entering our institution. That's it. Mic drop right there. Not some guy trying to convince you that, oh, you need this coaching seminar, whatever, pay me $10,000 and I might not even deliver on what I say. No. I want the evidence of we've already educated over 1 million students. Here are their results, and this is what you can expect to get by being with us for your 4-year college degree. And that's why you're willing to pay us $100,000 a year for tuition for your child to attend this private university. I like that better. Like again, it's like I like evidence. I don't want to be dishonest. I try to not be dishonest. It's like, Jordan Peterson puts it really well in 12 Rules for Life. It's like, what's it called? What's it? Don't lie. Let me make sure I get the quote right. 12 Rules for Life. Oh, man. 12 Rules for Life. Don't lie chapter. Oh, tell the truth or at least don't lie. That's rule number 8. So that's what I was trying to reference there. Sorry, that took me a little bit to remember what that was. I haven't read 12 Rules for Life in a little bit, but yeah, that was one that stuck with me for a while. Because that's what I try to do, right? It's like, tell the truth, but most importantly, try not to lie. Like obviously, the reason why my family survived is because they lied to the communists. Because my great aunt who passed away was one of the people with the grandparents that would lie about where certain family members were that they were looking to kill. Okay, and so if it weren't for them, throwing off the communists, a lot of my family would not have survived. So that's just the long story short. I am very blessed and very lucky to be alive because they made it through something so tragic. But again, I'm second generation. I'm not first generation. I didn't come off the boat. So their stories, their tragedy is not my story. So I don't need sympathy for people that think that Asian lives matter or, I'm being mistreated because I'm Asian or I look a certain way. Like, fuck that shit, bro. I don't need that. I don't need your sympathy. I don't need your picket fence of trying to make it seem like I'm, whatever. I'm a victim and you need to feel sorry for me. Like, don't, dude, don't. Like, the best thing you can do for people that are going through shit is just, accept the fact that, they're trying to live a better life. That's it. If they're not trying to live a better life and they're continuing down their destructive path, you have every right to not, like them and avoid them. That's fine. You have my permission. But, there are some people, and it's not all people, that are trying to, right their wrongs. Again, that's why I'm very happy with the United States incarceration system in terms of that, we're not like Singapore where if you bring drugs in, like if you bring in fentanyl, you bring in any sort of like drugs, if they catch you, you get the death sentence. You can look it up. Singapore death sentence on people that traffic drugs. We don't do that here in the US. And I believe there's a process for like justice. But it's not clean, it's obviously messy, but for the people that end up like, getting arrested because they did something as a juvenile and they have to serve 10 years in jail and they want to come out clean, they want to have a better life. Look, I've met people that have served 10, 20 years in jail. I've met people through driving Uber that, are trying to turn their life around, and I've had conversations with these people. It's like, dude, if I didn't commit murder, if I didn't do all these crazy crimes and these people are out here trying to live a better life, who the fuck am I to try to say that, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck am I? And so that's why for me, it's like, like my story is nothing compared to other people's. It's like, it's just a story. It only matters and pertains to me. It's not going to matter to any of you guys. But for anybody else out there that may have a similar story or went through something similar that they can't talk to their family about, I know what it's like. You're not alone. And, I may not be there to support you, but I want you to know that, it's going to be a tough road, but you're going to figure it out. You're going to, you can ask me for my thoughts and what I would recommend that you do, but you're going to become independent. You're going to go get your own job. You're going to work. You're going to save up money. You're not going to get into debt, and you're going to be able to live a good life because whatever happened to you in the past is like, not a good thing. You don't want that to happen to anybody else. And so you're going to commit the rest of your life to making sure that nobody else has to go down that dark path ever. So if you want to know why I've been able to live for this long and why I've continued to fight every single day and not give up, because that was the mission that I've been fighting for the longest time. And if I can help at least one other person, live a better life, support their family, not have any of this childhood trauma shit, and their children come out healthy, and their parents love them and care for them, and they don't make them like a soft, bubble child, and their kids become resilient, and that passes down to their kids. If I can do that with my life is complete. Because the most powerful thing that I've come across in terms of visualization of my future, and I'll say this to the day that I die, there's only 2 books I would recommend to people. First book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Second book, Atomic Habits. In the first book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I'll make it very simple. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. Okay? And I'm going to end it on this. I'm going to read this to you guys so you know. And, so you know why I think this way. Okay, habit 2. Okay, here we go. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Principles of personal leadership. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Oliver Wendell Holmes. Please find a place to read these next few pages where you can be alone and uninterrupted. Clear your mind of everything except for what you will read and what I will invite you to do. Don't worry about your schedule, your business, your family, or your friends. Just focus with me and really open your mind. In your mind's eye, see yourself going to the funeral of a loved one. Picture yourself driving to the funeral parlor or chapel, parking the car, and getting out. As you walk inside the building, you notice the flowers, the soft organ music. You see the faces of friends and family you pass along the way. You feel the shared sorrow of losing, the joy of having known that radiates from the hearts of the people there. As you walk down to the front of the room and look inside the casket, you suddenly come face to face with yourself. This is your funeral 3 years from today. All these people have come to honor you, to express feelings of love and appreciation for your life. As you take a seat and wait for the services to begin, you look at the program in your hand. There are to be 4 speakers. The first is from your family, immediate and also extended, children, brothers, sisters, nephews, nieces, aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents who have come from all over the country to attend. The second speaker is one of your friends, someone who can give a sense of what you were as a person. The third speaker is from your work or profession, and the fourth is from your church or some community organization where you've been involved in service. Now think deeply. What would you like each of these speakers to say about you and your life? What kind of husband, wife, father, or mother would you like their words to reflect? What kind of son or daughter or cousin? What kind of friend? What kind of working associate? What character would you like them to have seen in you? What contributions? What achievements? What would you want them to remember? Look carefully at the people around you. What difference would you like to have made in their lives? And so that visualization is basically what I've, time and time, every single year I revisit again and again to make sure that my mission and like what I'm trying to do with my life is aligned with like the purpose that I see and everything. And so, that's just what motivates me. Everybody's got a different motivation. I'm not trying to force anybody to have the same motivation as me. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I'm not gonna try to make this any longer. It's like a 2-hour clip already. So we're already at what's it called? 5:31. So yep. All right, that's it. I'm just gonna wrap it up so I don't waste your guys' time. So that's all I got for this. We can continue. I'll talk with anybody that has any questions. Anybody wants to private message me, and we'll continue from there. All right, that's it.